When it comes to PC-based lighting controllers, there's a lot of options out there, and to tell you the truth, a lot of them are bad, a few of them are good, and about a couple of them are my favorites. And one of those, that's my favorite, is ENTTEC's D-Pro. Why? Well, it provides some basic simplicity, gives you the functions you need, and doesn't really overcomplicate anything, all while providing an intermediate level of control for a really great price. If you're looking to use D-Pro or you just started, there are about 4 things that I've found as I've used it over the years that I really wish I had known much earlier on in my journey. So let's dive into the software, and I want to show you 4 things I wish I had known about when I began with D-Pro.
When it comes to ENTTEC's D-Pro software, it's a pretty straightforward software that, as you learn it, I think you'll find to be pretty no-nonsense. But there's a couple things that I'd like to point out that I really wish I knew when I began with this software. So the first is making groups. If you're familiar with the device browser here, it allows you, when you turn on Monitor Live Output, to see what your lights are doing, to have all your different lights here and be able to click on them to select them and then be able to control them. But if you have a lot of lights, it can be difficult and take some time to be highlighting these and holding shift to select them all, etc. So you can create groups, which are just a quick select, just an easy way to select the lights you need. So I'm just going to highlight both of these by holding shift. Control also works. Then I'm going to press Save Group right here at the top of Device Browser. We'll give it a name. I'll call it Movers because it's my moving lights. And now, if I go over here under Groups in the library, as I'm programming, I'll deselect these. I could just select them, and then I've got control of both of these lights together. I can always click to deselect, select one of them as I need to, but it certainly speeds things up, especially when you've got a lot of lights to use the Groups function. Now, the next thing I wish I knew when I began is highlight. So say I take this LED, or maybe this dimmer, or maybe both of them, and I want to select them, and I want to see what light it is on my stage. Well, highlight mode right here makes that simple. So I can just click into highlight mode, and as I click on different lights, it's going to highlight or bring them up to full white so that I can see exactly what's going on. As long as the light has intensity, you're able to do this. Even on this LED, which is a 3-channel, it only has red, green, and blue. It doesn't necessarily have intensity, but it's brought to white on highlight, so I can find it on my stage and work with it. It may seem simple, but at the end of the day, it can save you time during your show. Now, the next thing I wish I knew when I started with D-Pro is snapshots. So let me save this cue, close out my programmer, and open up Show Control. Snapshots are here at the bottom, and the cool thing about snapshots is they're just literally just a quick and easy way to save everything that's being output as a cue. So you may have made some different cues here that do some different things, and you may want to then select all of them. You like what you got, you like how it looks, and just save it as a snapshot to play back in full later. So you can press the snapshot, you can call it a name, press OK, and then whenever you click that button, you're going to be able to click that, get back exactly what you wanted, and you're good to go. It plays that back, plays those cues back exactly as you had it, and then you can take over from here again. You can turn off the snapshot down here. You've got a lot of options there. Now, the last thing that I like to highlight is override faders. And this is a newer thing to D-Pro, so it wasn't around when I started with it, but regardless, I can literally take a cue here. Let's say we take that cue that is called new and put it on a fader. Now, when you put something on a fader, you bring it up and down, you get control over the overall intensity level of those lights, okay? But if the cue has things like pan and tilt information in it, then, or color information, those items aren't going to fade up and down. And that's by design. Most lighting consoles work this way, and it makes sense. But a lot of times, especially if you're running a live show, you want to be able to control different parameters on faders. Maybe tilt, maybe for this example, the intensity of the red, the amount of red that's in the light. So I could just go in here and actually I'll create a new cue really quick. Go to our programmer here, select these two movers, give them a position, save it as a cue, call it tilt, spell it wrong, bring that in, and now we'll put that on a fader. We'll click this cog here, we'll click this, and we'll click it as an override. We'll select override to assign that to that fader, turn this option off, and now as we bring this fader up, it moves the tilt of the lights and any other parameters that we've assigned in there. So it's really powerful, especially when you combine this with some physical MIDI controllers to be able to control that tilt, control things like gobo, rotate, and whatever else you could think of that you'd want to have variable control over. I hope you've enjoyed this look in DPro, and hopefully you've learned something new today. If you do want to learn more about DPro, check out my free guide over on learnstagelighting.com that is going to show you how to program DPro and to give you some videos on some advanced programming techniques and some ways that I like to set up DPro for different shows. Make sure to subscribe here on YouTube and check back next week. We'll have a new video. Thank you so much.